All right, you can start.
All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, today's session is based on understanding complex organization. So, together with, me and my colleague, Devnan Ramkumar, will be taking you through this topic, right? Okay, so we broaden the focus of the environment in today's session and talk about the leadership in an organization context. So, first off, groups and organization. What is a group? So a group is a set of individuals or objects that have been located, gathered, or categorized. What is an organization? An organization is an establishment of people with a specific goal, such as a company or government agency. So differentiation between groups and organization can be challenging. Some of the variations are plain to see while others are more subtle. What, when, where, how, and why are questions that can be used to demonstrate the difference among other methods. So these are the questions. Organizations are vast assemblages of people who work together continuously within a sophisticated framework to achieve a certain goal. So organizations are by nature social creatures. We will see that although closeness to site has typically been a deciding factor for firms, this is not always the case. Organizations have many members. So, do you recall playing with your best friend when you were a child? Even if you occasionally had issues or challenges with one another, it was usually simple to resolve them. So the more friends you had, you see that the harder it was to make other friends. And suddenly you become more aware that not everyone desired to play the game in the same manner as you do, or that they desired to play it otherwise. After that, you would continue to grow as you entered high school and, of course, your place of employment. So, dating with more and more individuals introduced you to various beliefs, concepts, and methods of operation. Life was undoubtedly both more intriguing and complicated as a result of this. So think about organizations as establishers of individuals. So imagine custard, for example, right? Where everyone is involved in working towards educating pupils, including students, teachers, administrators, parents, board of trustees, and others, right? So, however, each of these groups has a unique perspective of how pupils should be educated. Organizational interactions are ongoing. Any organization's success depends on its diverse groups remaining connected so they can collaborate efficiently. Isolation or separation can be detrimental to the entire company as well as the group that has experienced it. Being physically close to other participants can be beneficial, but it is not a must in organizations. Our perspective of an organization has people working in the same room or at the vast least the same building conflicts with this. So organization structures are intricate. The organizational structure typically has numerous departments and layers, as well as numerous leaders and decision makers. So think again. So consider custard again. So different rules, policies, and processes must be in place in order to successfully incorporate all the various groups in the educational process. Additionally, there will be a variety of leadership positions. Organizations are there to carry out a specific task. So, throughout our lives, we have all taken part in and perhaps even held leadership positions in a variety of organizations. But it's unlikely that we have ever paused to consider how these organizations came to be. It was probably just there, unless you were part of the core group that founded the organization. So your participation started when you showed up to a meeting, and it either continued or ended depending on how well the group satisfied your needs. So we ask the question, why do organizations exist? If we attempt to answer that, we will come up with that they exist to achieve a particular goal, right? Which will be true. So moving on, organizations as a complex system. So what is a system? So according to Tubbs, a system is described as a setting where each member interaction results in outcomes that have an impact on each individual and member interactions and outcomes. So as an organization grows and diversity interactions increase and life there becomes more challenging, even since everything impacts everything else. So organizations are extremely difficult environments for participation and leadership. Due to the enormous and diverse number of bright individuals who are members with you, they are also places with a lot of potential. So organizational leadership. Why do leadership exist in an organization? Since organizations are frequently seen as structures where a variety of groups can interact with one another over time, leadership is an organization exists to assist these groups in cooperating to achieve a particular goal. So, whatever its origins, leadership has only one purpose, and that is to support an organization in fulfilling its stated objectives. Although this goal may change over time, leadership must always uphold its responsibility to steer the company in the direction of fulfilling its objectives. One of the most important roles of leadership is to keep the organization's attention on its mission in order to ensure its long-term viability. So the rational leadership module is thought to offer a practical framework from which leaders may work to achieve an organization's goal. Leaders and members can successfully collaborate to effect significant change by being inclusive, empowering, ethical, and process-oriented, as well as by assisting all the organization's members to be purposeful and work together towards positive purpose. Organizational structures. Every organization serves a purpose, and all organizations have a structure that facilitates day-to-day operations. The traditional module for organizations was developed by Max Weber in 1924 to 1947, and that includes the hierarchical structure, division of labor, and stated rules and regulations that how specify how the organization should function. The rules of the game in the traditional structure organization are that the members have little power, authority, or responsibility. They simply do as they are told and have little, if any, input into the decision-making process. However, things are evolving. Currently, there is a push for business to be cooperative, caring, and empathetic. Leadership without these organizations is being required to connect individuals throughout the entire environment by involving the wants, needs, and abilities of the organization's membership, rather than the old command and control function. So the traditional pyramid was suggested to be turned upside down with the president at the bottom of the membership and the members at the top, in one novel way of conceptualizing the organization. As a result of this conceptualization, the president's job is to assist the other officials and committee chairs in their effort to better serve the needs and desires of the members. Any firm can benefit from this exercise in a big way. So, how well does your leadership help the other members of the organization work towards achieving the purpose for which the organization exists? Who are your members? What are you what are you as a leader doing to meet their wants and needs? How are you using the talents of your members? And these are questions that we ask in our organization. So the idea of a web-based organizational structure has been suggested. Because the pattern is constantly being built up, stretched, altered, modified, and transformed, this structure performs well in a changing environment. So there's a list of crucial activities that give these webs a clearer definition than the patterns do, right? So communication is open and takes place at all organization levels within the web. The result of the internet's web spread, distribution of knowledge and information, deciding what to do and doing it are not independent activities. Because of the web strand spread power throughout the network, those who come up with innovative ideas believe they have both the obligation and the power to see their ideas through to realization. So there's less emphasis on who is in what position and who has how much power, making reorganization simple because the web can tighten or loosen around its center. The leader strands serve as points of entry into the outside world and make it possible for new members to join the group. Finally, through a process of trial and error, the web organization continually reinvents itself. Successful processes continue and strengthen the entire web, but unsuccessful ones transform into something new. So due to the distribution of communication and decision-making authority over the internet, its transformation is easier to implement. So the non-hierarchical organizational structure is the last type. Power and authority in non-hierarchical organization are shared by the entire membership. Leadership duties are shared by all and decisions are frequently decided by agreement. Many organizations employ a non-hierarchical structure because their members are committed to true equality. So, a word of caution. Regardless of the organization structure you now use, it's crucial to keep in mind that the structure is not the organization. The membership of an organization is made up of people who have gathered for specific objectives. The organization's structure was diverse to assist the membership in achieving its goal. Additionally, organizations exist to link individuals with one another. The structure needs to be changed when it can no longer perform either of these functions. So organizational mission, vision, and core values. Organizations operate for a specific reason, such as to express the membership opinions, to generate a product, to engage its members in activities, or for a variety of other purposes, of course. So how can organization's purpose or goal is realized in its vision and activities will be a key factor in determining whether it succeeds or fails. Goal statements of 50 corporations were gathered by Jones and Kahina in 1995, and they make for fascinating reading. It's a simple to find mission statement of most large corporations by visiting their websites. So for example, Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And then there is the website. So why does this organization exist? So the mission statement must reflect the business personality and be prepared in simple, direct language with participation from all areas of the organization. The mission statement should be widely disseminated once it has been created for it to effectively direct the organization's action. It must provide a strong justification for the organization's existence. Your organization's mission may be social, service related, programmatic, political, or any mix of these. But how successfully it accomplishes that mission will define how effective your group is. The organization's adapt vision pushes both the leader and the membership to go above and beyond what is thought to be achieved in order to further the organization's stated mission. As Margaret Wheatley in 1992 notes, we need to be able to trust that something as simple as a clear core set of values and vision kept in motion through continuing dialogue and can lead to order. So core values are the last idea we examine in this section, right? So without guiding principles, any action would be acceptable for its if it helped the company achieve its goals. These fundamental principles are few, usually 3 to 6, and so deeply held that they will change or be compromised rarely, if ever. So core value answer the question, how do we as organization members agree to treat ourselves and others as we pursue our mission and vision? So organizational culture. So we see in Edgar Said in his classic work Organizational Structure and Leadership in 2004 defines this form of organizational culture as a pattern of shared basic assumptions that was learned by a group as it solved its problems of external adoption and internal integration that has worked well enough to be considered valid and therefore to be taught to new members as a correct way to perceive, think, and feel in relation to these problems. So James defines culture in a slightly different manner. So culture is an infinite game. Culture has no boundaries. And for this reason, it can be said that where society is defined by its boundaries and culture is defined by its horizons. So purposes that culture has different levels. So the artifacts that the structures and processes of the organizations are the level that are the most obvious. Underlying presumptions are the last and deepest level. Members of the organizations take these beliefs, perceptions, ideas, and feelings to be true. Organizations' principles and actions are guided by these underlying presumptions. So he contends that managing the culture is the most crucial responsibility as a leader. Well, a leader has, right? So organizational culture can be studied using a distinct paradigm provided by Terence Deal and Alan Kennedy in 1982. So values are significant because they serve as a foundation of an organization and serve as a manual for how its members should behave. Ordinary people who act hierarchically are crucial because they increase likelihood of success. Serve as role models, represent the organization to outsiders, protect what makes it unique, set performance standards, and inspire members. They cover how team members should interact, mingle, work, and play together, as well as what behaviors should be acknowledged and rewarded. The intricate workings of the organization are likewise governed by the rites and rituals. So, with that being said, I will hand you over to my colleague who will take you all through the rest of the session.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Celine. Um, so I'll just take up from where you left off, and we'll go to vision and mission statement. So in any organization, it is imperative for the mission and vision statement to be stated distinctly and to be the motivating factor. Mission and vision statement play three critical roles. They communicate the purpose of the organization and the stakeholders. They inform strategy development and they develop measurable goals, which is integral to any organization. Next, please. So, what is organizational culture? Organizational culture is the collection of values, expectation, and practice that guide and inform actions of team members. Edgar Sheen, 2004, defines organizational culture as a pattern of shared basic assumptions that we learn by a group as it solves its problem of external adaptation and internal integration. So basically what they're saying there is the bonding, is the communication between the upper and the lower ranks to achieve organizational culture. Next, please. So we go to the levels of culture. Sheen 2004 proposes that culture has three levels: artifacts, values, and assumptions. An assumption. Artifacts in this case could be historical, it could be architectural in terms of building, values in terms of shared experience, and assumption, shared communication in terms of values and expectations. Next, please. So we go to frames of organization. Bowman and Deal 2003 uses four frames of organization. They are structural, human resources, political, and symbolic. Next, please. So here we articulate these four items. Structural will deal with rules, goals, policies. Human resource, which is integral, needs, skills, relationship, empowerment. Political, well, in any organization, there's some type of input from political side. So whether it be by funding or whatever means, uh, affording them a building to use, whatever it is. We have symbolic, culture, meaning, ritual, ceremony, stories, heroes. Heroes to me is very important because it sets the trend for leadership as well as having a role model. Next, please. So cultural differences. So in any society, there will be differences. You know, Marxist conflict theory. Whatever it is, so there will be some form of conflicts or differences. So we need to putting measures in place to deal with these things. Greg Hofstede, 2003, identified a six-dimensional model of cultural differences. power distance index, individualism versus collectivism, masculinity versus femininity, uncertainty avoidance, long term orientation versus short term, and indulgence versus self restraint. Next, please. So the diagram articulates these items here, culture being the main focus, and all these adjoining parts are there to identify those aspects. So we have the power then distance, we have the indulgence, this hierarchical order versus rigid structure. We have masculinity. In today's world, we live in a world of where equality is the mainstay. Gender-based, you know, everybody is coming out. Everybody has rights, so those things have to be respected, whether in all culture, business, and otherwise. Next, please. So we go to the negative impact of organizational culture. Organizational culture can negatively affect life within an organization. Some common elements of a negative culture environment include miscommunication, rumors, defeatism, lack of trust, poor attendance, resistance to change, workforce bullying, and blame shifting. So these items does impact negatively on any organization. It doesn't make for bonding. It doesn't make for achieving goals. It doesn't make for equality. It doesn't make for any type of positive impact on an organization. So these are the things organization must avoid. Next, please. So we have formal and informal organization network. So network theory tells us about the structures and the functions of an organization. It addresses the means by which social reality is constructed within the organization. So here it speaks of structure, illustrating that networks are not only instrumental but also cultural. So there's always a bond between the structure and the culture. How one views others and how it takes the organization in terms of their goals and their aspiration, how they're going to meet the the clientele and get them to work with them to achieve their their desired goal. Um, so we go to the next slide. So we have 5 phases of organizational life cycle, and we have renewal, birth event, growth stage, a maturity stage, and a decline stage. So renewal, basically, it can take many forms: a change or reorganization in the right direction, merger, acquisition, or sale. So, well, we saw the advent with Petrotrin, and it was sold. So that was a type of renewal in the industry. We look at a birth event, growth stage. The organization either grows or it fails. So, decisions has to be made going forward. So, at growth stage. A maturity stage, the dangers are stagnation, bureaucracy, and failure to innovate. And in this type of scenario, change is inevitable, but not everybody adapts to change. At decline stage, growth and innovation slows the organization because self-perpetuating bureaucracy increases diminishing returns. Again, when the lack of communication, identifying goals and stuff, these are some of the negative impacts. Next, please. We have multicultural organizational development. This refers to building organization and organizational cultures to include people of different race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, nationality, class, religion, and cultural grouping. So, in a nutshell, this is inclusion, identifying with all aspects um, of persons, gender, religion, class. So, there's no boundaries here, there's no discrimination. Next, please. Um, Seng's 5 these disciplines of learning organization. shared vision, system thinking, mental models, team learning, personal mastery, learning organization at the center, at the helm. So these disciplines are recommended for any organization going forward. Next, please. So we come to system thinking, interdependence among all functions, working together as a whole system, organizational learning stage. So we have these are broken down: team learning, personal mastery, mental models, shared vision. Again, these are what encompasses the attributes of our working organization. Next, please. So we have virtuality and the impact of technology. Hardy in 1996 et al. Believe that trust will be extremely important and difficult to develop when people do not often see each other face to face. There is the need for common purpose and values to be shared. Members of all levels will be more involved in decision-making process. Just like to go back to the first one, they develop. People need to be when people do not often see each other face to face. We recently came out of COVID, and that was an issue. People were working from home, so just to highlight that. But next list. So we go to leadership, leadership qualities, and talk about agile leadership, hybrid skill development, architectural view, digital entrepreneurship, value creator, value protector, strategy execution alignment, technology transformation alignment, competitive potential alignment, service level alignment. So these are an innovative type of style. Uh, it talks about the new age in digital technology transformation. You know, all of which are new adaptation that we see in the business world. Okay, next slide, please. So Gartner, 6 ways the workplace will change in the next 10 years. So the future prediction challenges, we working, one will be, we working will eliminate middle management. So we working, so getting the fundamentals and getting the day-to-day 8 to 4 out of employees. Constant, the second, constant upskilling and digital dexterity will outweigh tenure and experience. So, keeping up with the times, upgrade, workshop, presentation, bringing up employees to speed. Third, extreme work choices will blur boundaries, businesses, and bodies. So that in itself, extreme work choices. So if there are more than choices, as the word says, is more than one. So it's a bit diverse in what they do. Smart machines will be our co-workers. So no longer the workforce may be trimmed by these smart machines. We will work for purpose and passion, not just money. So here it is, the vision and mission comes back here. It's not just about the financial, it's but working is we like what we do, we love what we do. Work life challenges will reveal a dark side. Right. So here we are, mental health issues, work life challenges, balancing life, balancing work, the day to day, poverty, socio-economic, increase in gas. Yeah. Next, please. Next, please. So we just want to summarize thus far our discussion of complex organization, why organizations exist and how they are structured, the importance of mission, vision, and core values, the virtual organization of the future. And lastly, well, this is the references thus far. I want to thank you for being a gracious audience. And thank to Celine for her hard work and effort in bringing this presentation to you all. I now hand you over this. Thank you.
So, are there any questions that people would like to ask? Right, well, if not, I'm going to stop the recording.